Hello, I'm Karena.
And I'm Jamie. Welcome to As Told by ADHD. This podcast is a brainchild of two best friends with ADHD who share a passion for learning and a knack for finding the most fascinating tidbits of knowledge.
Each week, we embark on a wild and hilarious journey of discovery as we dive headfirst into topics that pique our curiosity, from dark folklore to bizarre statistics, cultural ceremonies to famous dead people. We're here to entertain, educate, and tickle your funny bone.
This week on As Told by ADHD.
Dun, dun, dun.
Urban legends.
Legends.
Wow.
Legends.
Okay. Doing that coin flip.
Let's do that coin flip.
Heads, tails.
Tails.
I forgot. What is it again? You have it written down, right?
I don't know where it is.
You don't have it?
Hold on. No, the gate, the building. The building is tails. No, the building.
Are you sure?
The building. Yes, I'm positive. Building is tails. Yes.
Why am I like this? Okay. Oh, okay. You said tails?
Yep.
See what it is. It's a map.
It's the map. Ooh, I'm so
map.
excited because I want to know so bad. I'm so ready to be entertained.
Do you have any idea what it could be?
No idea. I was thinking
If you had to guess.
I was thinking some sort of monster who has like a very detailed like history and upbringing, like an evil spirit as she licks her wine.
Oh, you do have. I didn't think you had my thing up.
I did.
Yes.
But I was thinking like
I
some monster with like some crazy backstory or something. Because you're a
not
detail
far
hoe.
off. I am. Well, I just get entranced, and then I look up, and it's like 6 hours later, and I'm like, where did my day go? And also, how do I have all of this information?
She has a lot more information than me.
That's okay.
And that's
It's
fine.
okay. It's not.
That's fine.
It's not about.
It's not a competition.
No. It's not about the journey. No.
It's not about the quantity. It's about the quality.
I don't know. I was trying to say it's not about the journey. It's the destination. No, it's not about the destination. It's the journey. I think.
Did you
In
read,
this case,
what was it?
It's not about the journey. It's about the destination.
We sound like we're trying to quote the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Wait.
Have you not heard of that?
I wasn't?
Oh, were you?
I wasn't?
I think you
wait,
were.
do I not have pants?
Nope.
No pants!
We're cozy
Damn
here.
it. Excuse you? Okay. Welcome to my urban legend. Spring-heeled Jack. Dun, dun, dun. Ah! Okay. Have you ever heard of this person?
No.
Thing person?
No.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about it.
Let's talk about it.
Spring-heeled Jack. It's English folklore from the Victorian era. The first sighting of Spring-heeled Jack was in 1837.
Oh, we going back.
So the first sighting, October 1837. We are in predominantly London, suburban London, but also Midlands, so like Wales, Birmingham, Liverpool, and Scotland occasionally. This is classified as a hoax. It's also classified as causing mass hysteria, classified as a demon, or a phantom.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, let's talk about what Spring-heeled Jack looks like. Just based off the name, what do you think Spring-heeled Jack looks like?
I think it looks like, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is the headless Jack. Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman. Yep, that one. They said his name was Jack, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't remember. I wasn't doing that legend. I'm doing this one. So, no. You're incorrect. And here's what he actually looks like. He was described as tall, thin, and gentlemanly.
So Slenderman.
No, not like I think average sized man, right?
Mm-hmm.
He also had clawed hands, but not any claws. He had metal claws. It was described as metallic. So he had like these metallic claws that he would just like use to scratch at people. It was crazy. His eyes resembled red balls of fire. Just take that in for a second.
That, like, were they actually red? Like, were his eyeballs? Was he albino?
I don't know.
They have some cool eyes.
They do, but we'll get there. Okay, so he's been known to wear a black cloak, maybe a helmet. That was like in some of them, that like a helmet, like a metal helmet, like a Victorian like war helmet, which will come in later. I want you to just hold on to that information. Sometimes he wears an oilskin garment, which is like, it's like what is it called? So when you're like a fisherman, that big yellow coat that's like waterproof.
Yes.
So that's what an oilskin is. His was white. He was also described as devil-like. Some reports said that he could breathe blue and white flames out of his mouth.
What the
Often described as spitting. Like he would spit, like specifically he would spit flames. And that will come back later too. At least 2 people claimed that he could speak comprehensible English. He smelled of sulfur. So honestly, to me, that just sounds like he's got gas. If I'm being honest. He's also reported to be disguised as a ghost, a white bull, or a white bear. So, what are your thoughts initially?
It sounds like too many people be eyeing him with something wrong with their eyes, because he's going from a bear to a scientist to a metal hand person to a devil to a demon.
Where did you get scientist?
The oil suit, like white oil suit.
That's not no. A fisherman's.
I know, but why? If I were to see somebody, it would just look like somebody in a hazmat suit to me. So
I
like,
guess so.
white,
But do they
like
know what
hazmat
hazmat suits are back then?
They
didn't really have hazmat
don't.
suits.
But you asked for my opinion, and I'm not
True.
200 years old.
Wait, you're not?
No, you're the mythical creature, not me.
I thought that's why we were friends.
No, you trapped me with your falsetto and your big brown eyes.
Anyway, okay, so like the MO for the victims, so like the people that he specifically went after, were a majority women that were unaccompanied at night. So he would only appear at night.
What a coward.
Right? This is kind of the foundation of how they believe Jack came to be. So it started with like a bunch of people claiming to see phantoms or ghosts, specifically the Hammersmith ghost, which was believed to be a man who took his own life, and he would just go around attacking people. This led for there to be a law in 1804. Someone could be held liable for their actions, even if they were consequences of mistaken belief. So that means, like, if somebody were to believe that it was a ghost, but it was actually a person, and you, like, murdered someone because you were like, it was a ghost. But, like, and you were, like, trying to, like, defend yourself from this ghost, but it's a person and you kill them, then you can get charged for that, which is fair, honestly. Like,
yeah, that's fair. But that's still so
don't
strange.
go kill people.
It's like
it was
trying to
happening
play
enough.
Insanity, but they hadn't quite got there yet.
Right. And maybe one day, if we go back to this topic, we can do another, and I can do it specifically on the Hammersmith ghost, because there's a lot of stuff about him too. But we'll leave that for another day.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about his first attack. However, I do want to give a trigger warning. It is not fun. It's not a good time. And it sounds like a little bit of SA is trying to happen. It doesn't happen, but it's not fun. So if you have any triggers around SA, then I would skip this part.
Or assaults in general.
Or assaults in general. If you don't like assaults and it's really triggering, then this is where you skip. Okay, so first attack was a servant girl named Mary Stevens. Now, she was visiting her parents one day, and she was walking back to her, to the place where she worked, which I'm assuming that's where she lived, because if you're a servant, you usually live with the people that you're serving.
Right.
Especially back then. Out of nowhere, a strange and mysterious creature leapt out of an alley and started kissing her face and used its sharp metallic claws to tear off her clothes.
Oh my gosh, it's terrifying.
Right? And she said, she specifically said it was a creature, and she didn't know what it was, and it came out of an alley. And she started screaming. Obviously, I started screaming too. It drew attention to her and her attacker. People started running towards her to help her, and then her attacker ran off. Immediately, the people that were coming to help her, coming to her aid, could not find any evidence that anybody was there. Even though they kind of saw him with their own eyes, they were like, where the hell did he go? It's like he just vanished. I mean, she still had her clothes. He didn't take her clothes.
No, I'm just talking about claw marks or anything. Or did you not see anything like that?
No, there was definitely claw marks.
Oh my gosh. That's so scary.
There was evidence that she had been attacked, but not that somebody had been there.
Wow.
They could not find where he went. They couldn't find anything disturbed. They were just where the hell did this guy go? And like I said, I'm pretty sure, from what I read about it, people kind of saw him but ran to her first, and then when they looked up, he was gone.
Wow.
Okay, so the second sighting / attack, not really attack. It describes it as an attack, but it really wasn't. So the second time that this thing was seen, it was the same part of London, and it was the next day. So Mary got attacked, and then the next day, out of absolutely nowhere, this creature jumps out in front of a horse and carriage. The driver loses control and crashes and is severely injured. However, onlookers saw this happen and get this. This is crazy. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Onlookers claimed that the man effortlessly jumped 9 feet over a wall.
The creature man.
Yes, as if he had springs in his heels. Hence, Spring Heel Jack.
Wow.
Yeah.
9 feet.
Right. Literally a 9-foot wall. And also, we have to remember, this is all at night. This is all happening at night. But 9 feet?
9 feet.
Just picture 9 feet right now.
He's wearing white. 9 feet is taller than my roof.
Not always. It's either a black cloak or a white oilskin.
Oh, yeah.
So there was 2 different descriptions. I believe for the most part, it was the black cloak. Only one person said there was a white oilskin.
Interesting.
What are you thinking?
I think that it's so creepy. Because it's if
creepy.
it's a man, but also a creature, I mean, obviously, it's kind of like you're teetering on urban legend meets mythical creature, because it goes back so far that it's technically considered a mythical creature. But the urban legends, because of all the sightings and stuff like that, that makes it even scarier. And the fact that it's documented in history, that's so scary.
Oh, just wait. Okay, so that was a second attack in quotations, because it wasn't really an attack. It was just a sighting that led to a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were several attacks that followed, but it was of poorer people. So it was lower class people, And, like, at that time, there wasn't a lot of people who trusted the police. Ooh, sounds familiar. But there wasn't a lot of people, especially poorer people. They did not trust the police. And then also at the same time, if a woman were to go to police for anything, honestly, if a man were to go to police about their wife and say she's crazy, immediately get put in a mental institution. So, like, why would you come forward, you know? But it's starting to travel by word of mouth, and so people are kind of getting more, like, panicked about it, and they're like, oh, my God, like, what? Oh, I don't want to see this thing.
Right.
Bleh. I would be terrified, honestly.
Bleh.
Bleh.
I would run away so fast, and then when I got to safety, I'd just be like, whoa, that was just, like, bleh.
Bleh.
It's just like, that was just, oh my gosh, like, what just happened? That was all just bleh.
Okay. Every single every single attack / sighting, they all had a couple things in common. He always had metal claws on his hands, and he could always jump unnatural heights. Those were always the descriptors. It would vary, like, between people saying, like, oh, he looked like a bear, oh, he looked like a bull, or oh, he looked like a ghost, oh, he looked like a man, oh, he looked like a demon. Like, so the appearance would semi-change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would always be like a human body, but, like, the head would be different, I guess.
Right. And they
So I
thought
guess,
that
like,
they were eating, like, normal human mushrooms that they found in their backyard, but actually...
Hilarious. Yes, you're right.
Actually.
So, the hysteria of all of this, sweeping the lower class part of London, it started to get back to the upper class and specifically the government. So let's talk a little bit about the Lord Mayor of London.
Oh my gosh, I want to know what
Sir
the government
John-
did about it. I want to know so bad. Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm so excited. Go.
No, it's fine.
Go. I'm so excited.
The Lord Mayor of London, Sir John Gowan. That was. Did you like my accent?
Your accent's phenomenal, yes.
1 out of 10.
I would say for the accent you did, probably a 10.
Fuck yeah! Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, there's so many different British accents.
That was my,
Found-
like, upper class,
that
like,
was very,
hoity-toity.
that was very hoity-toity, yes. Go ahead.
All right, it was supposed to be. He's the Lord Mayor of London. Anyway, so, Sir John was like, it was just getting so out of hand that he decided to make a public statement. Now, I'm going to give, like, a brief overview of the statement.
Ooh, brief.
However, if you want to look up the, like, full statement, you totally can. I'm not going to stop you. Honestly, probably should, because, like, there's a lot more information than what I'm giving. I'm just giving you, like, the highlights of it. So, he said, at this point when he gave this statement, that Jack had already visited many villages in London. So he had been seen several times and had attacked at least 7 women.
Wow.
And this is all within, like, 3 months. He also called Jack unmanly, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, he was trying to get him pissed off so he'd get attacked.
I mean, I don't think he wanted to get attacked. I just think he,
Oh, draw him out. For sure. It's like, if this thing
Yeah.
is a man creature, let me hit his ego real quick.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So he's just like, unmanly. You attacked 7 victims. Like, what the fuck? That's how I assumed he gave the speech.
What the fuck? And he's the
But
Lord Mayor. What the fuck?
what the fuck? I'm not Lord Mayor. What the fuck? Okay. Now I'm gonna need you to buckle on up for this one because this one pissed me the fuck off.
Seatbelt on. Click.
and it's specifically the government, specifically John, Sir John, he said publicly that the women that had been attacked will never recover and have become a burden to their families.
Because of trauma?
Yeah, because they're like insisting, oh my God, this guy who like blew flames all over me attacked me and now I got scars and stuff. Oh my God, I'm terrified. And that's a burden. I'm so mad about it.
Dude.
Like, ooh.
It's like you're bedridden.
Anyway, so,
let's execute you. Or execute.
Execute? Execute.
It's like you're bedridden. So we're going to execute you because you're no longer useful. You're not milking the cows 3 times a day.
Basically, like, the fact that he literally said a burden, like that was a quote from the thing. He was like, has become a burden to their families. Like, I just want to stop for a second and talk to the people who have trauma. Serious note, let's take the comedy out of it, even though I like to be funny. I'm going to take that comedy right on out. If you have had any trauma whatsoever, you are not a burden to anyone. First and foremost.
Agreed.
Second, I want to say that if someone is making you feel like a burden, you deserve better. You deserve someone in your life that helps you through your trauma and not someone who is belittling you or making you feel dumb or making you feel any less than. Because from personal experience, I've had trauma and I've had severe depression, and I've also had people in my life that made me feel like a burden, and that made things worse. So I want to say to you what I wish someone would have said to me. You are not your trauma.
No.
And you deserve to be treated better. So
I agree. And
you are not a burden.
No, you're not a burden. And if you ever, and I'm just adding on, if you ever decide to let those toxic people or people who aren't allowing you to overcome your traumas, if you make that difficult decision to cut them out of your life, okay, there are so many resources available to help you overcome your trauma on your own and teach you how powerful you are in overcoming that trauma and how powerful you are in general after you overcome that trauma. So, if you want any references, feel free to reach out to us and we will comment as many places that we personally use to overcome traumas and what we have used to overcome traumas in the past on our own. Because in my opinion and in my experience, I had to cut a lot of people out to overcome my traumas on my own because that was my best route. So feel free to reach out to us anytime. We'll help out.
You're right. And also, I think in this episode, I'm going to put in the description different resources that you can either go to or that you can reach out to, even like read about. And hopefully that helps. I just want you to understand that, like, it's not uncommon, unfortunately, to feel that way.
I agree.
And I know that I know so many people who feel like a burden with their emotions and feel like a burden with their trauma, and that's not cool, in my opinion. And you deserve a safe space. So we're here for you if you need it.
Yep.
Anyway, enough about Sir fucking John what's-his-fuck. After he said what he said, he also decided to silence the papers about Jack. Right? So he's silencing people left and right. And then one day, the Times were like, you know what, we're going to report on it. They reported on it, and that's like the biggest newspaper at the time. Other newspapers started following suit, and they started reporting as well. And the next day, after everybody had reported on Jack, John received several letters. Several. I'm talking about like from all over London. Not even just London. I think they're like a little further out from London too. Mm-hmm. And it was people claiming it was just a prank. It was just a prank. We're just pranking people.
He claimed that he got these letters in the mail?
No, I think that he actually showed them. So like, to me, that says that there are people who have privilege and power who are playing pranks. Let's put that in quotation marks. Playing pranks. It's just a prank. Whatever. Can't stand people. Anyway. So, we have 2 extremely detailed reports. Do you want to know what type of person these detailed reports came from?
What?
Upper class. So, this entire time that the government is trying to silence all of these newspapers, it's only lower class people getting attacked. Oh my God, February 19th, 1838, Jane Alsop, an 18-year-old, an upper class 18-year-old, gets attacked. But hers is a little different. So everybody that was attacked beforehand was mostly a woman who was by themselves outside at night.
Right.
However, Jane was in her home, and she is, I don't remember what it said she was doing. She was just kind of like getting ready for bed, I guess. It was getting a little late, and then somebody starts like ringing the bell just like constantly, like frantically, like, and then she goes and answers the door, and she's like, "What's up?" And what she says, what she thought she saw was a police officer in a cloak. And she said that the man told her, like what she thought was a police officer told her, "We caught Spring Hill Jack. I need you to bring me a light." So like a candle, because there's no electricity at the time. So she runs inside. He goes to like the end of her, she goes back to the road. She goes out to go give him the candle. And she hands him the candle expecting like she's like, "Oh my God, I'm helping these people. Ooh." So she hands him the light, but as soon as like before she could even like think twice, he throws his cloak off, and it's this, and he's like grabbing the candle, and it's this like demon-faced, wearing a helmet, gentlemanly man, but like he had a demon face, is what she said. And he literally, she said he spit blue flames at her. And she obviously turns around and tries to run away back into her house. He catches her, claws her, and cuts her neck pretty bad. And then he ends up tearing off some of her clothes and pulling out some of her hair. She's clearly like beaten up. She's screaming, and it gets the attention of her sister, who comes running. As soon as the sister comes out, this guy runs. So now she's just laying there bleeding and like all kinds of fucked up. And her sister's like, "Ah!" Obviously, I'd be freaking out too, right? She ends up calling the police. And because she's upper class, they're like, "Oh, we got to take this seriously." Because she's clearly like attacked.
Right.
And her sister saw someone run away. So we don't know what to do here. So let's talk about the police report a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's going to make you mad. It made me mad. The police deduced that she must be telling the truth, kind of, because she does have injuries, but she must be misremembering it.
So she has physical injuries, but there's no way There's no way, like, just a normal human with a demon face would do this. No way.
Well, no, they're saying, like, well, none of this makes any sense. They were like, they told her that helmet must have just been a hat. Because why would somebody be wearing a helmet? Like,
I'm rolling
telling her, the eyes of my body are rolling. Like, I'm so, like, the fact that they were like, no, you're wrong. The helmet had to have been a hat. Out of all the things, the helmet had to be a hat? Excuse me?
Avi.
Wow. Avi. So, okay. Ugh. It makes me so mad. So, not only that. Oh, she was the one that specifically was like, oh, he was wearing an oilskin under his cloak.
Really?
Which, the white oilskin, yeah. And they were like, no, the oilskin, he must have just had a sheet on. Because,
What?
like, why would he have an oilskin? So, specifically, out of everything she described, they were like, helmet, no, hat. Right? And oilskin, no, sheet.
Bro, what?
Right. Just take a moment.
It's like, what do I feel like documenting today? You're saying some wild stuff, so let me just change this up so that my fellow police officers can actually make sense, because they have no imagination or think that nothing exists other than men.
No, I need you, like...
Sorry, that was heavy. That was heavy sarcasm.
No, I get it. But no, just, like, put yourself in her shoes. You've literally just been attacked. You are fucking traumatized. Okay? You go to the police, and they're like, you're wrong, though.
Yeah, you're wrong.
A helmet? That sounds ridiculous. A helmet.
Why?
Who has a helmet? Ugh. An oilskin? Nope. Not today.
No, it sounds like they were like writing down with their little feather pens, and they're just going, helmet. And then like they're letting her talk. Yeah, they're letting her talk, and they just go. Let me just give this sound to you guys, okay? Let's see. Helmet. No. We're gonna do hat.
Yes. And then they also told her it wasn't a demon. It must have just been a drunk man on a stroll. Not even taking account the flames. Just take a minute. Literally, the most bizarre thing to them was the helmet and the oilskin, not the flames. Take a minute. I'm malfunctioning. The police are semi-taking this seriously, enough to where they are like, we need to arrest someone, right? Mm-hmm. While they are searching, another account comes up, and it's a servant boy. Same situation where this servant boy is doing his servantly duties. Is that a word, servantly? Probably. It's a word now. Mm-hmm. So he's doing his servantly duties, and there's a knock on the door. He goes and answers the door, and there is a man there. And he's like, what's this man doing here? And the boy noticed on his cloak, because he was wearing a black cloak, he noticed on his cloak there was a big W on it. And it was a little strange, and they were like, But then he's like, what's happening? And then the guy removes his cloak and shows his creepy-ass demon face. Because he has a creepy-ass demon face, right? He goes and tells the police. They take note of it, but they don't really take it too seriously because they're more worried about, like, the upper class. Oh, by the way, did I say her name? Her name was Jane.
Yeah, you did.
They're more worried about Jane than the servant boy, clearly. And then the police are like, you know what? We can't do this alone. Which, props to them, because even police today can't even do that sometimes. Because like they'll just be like, no, we got this. Even though like you clearly need federal help, you know? So they call on this guy called James Lee. He is an investigator in London, and he was noted to be the best detective at the time. He ended up finding a suspect. His name was Thomas Milbank, who was a carpenter, and the reason why he was a suspect is because he was getting schwasty in a pub one night, and he claimed that he was Jack.
When he was drunk?
When he was drunk, yeah. And so he claimed that he was Jack and was boasting about it and bragging. He was like, I'm Jack, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I imagine he was saying it. Anyway, he ends up getting arrested and goes to trial because James Lee is like, I'm pretty sure this guy did it. So they go to trial, and Thomas testifies. He's like, I did not attack Jane. I promise. I promise I did not attack her. Also, I didn't say I was Jack, but I was also blackout drunk the night that they said that I said it, so I might have said it, but I didn't say it.
Man, that was in the day where they're like drunk confessions or like the confessions. They're like, that's it. Book 'em, boys.
So, do you want to know how this man got off? Like, how he did not get charged for the crime. Do you want to know what was the nail in the coffin for him to be free?
Please, tell me right now.
It's because he could not breathe blue flames.
You're lying. You're lying.
That's what I found. They were like, oh, you can't breathe blue flames? Okay. Clearly not you. Go ahead.
All he has to do is literally spit at a lighter or the candle, because he grabbed the candle. All he has to do is spit alcohol at it. Well, it's kind of blue.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, they specifically said blue and white flames. They never said, like, orange flames.
Okay.
So he ended up getting off. But the same day as the trial, right, while they're testifying, while Jane is, like, crying in the courtroom, I'm assuming. I don't know if that for a fact. I just assumed she'd be crying in the courtroom because, like, she got attacked, you know. I'd be crying in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Because, like, trauma. You know?
Trauma.
The same day as the trial, which was February 28th, 1838. The same day as the trial. I could not say that enough. Lucy Scales, 18-year-old daughter of a butcher, or maybe sister of a butcher. There was conflicting reports on that. Like, I'm not sure if she was the daughter of a butcher or a sister of a butcher.
So she's like
Doesn't
middle
matter.
class-ish? Or is butcher lower class?
I think middle class-ish, because they took her pretty seriously.
Okay.
And it seemed like she was, I don't know, the way that they were, like, taking her, they took her more seriously than Jane, which is
Wow.
confusing to me. Because, like, she was like, oh, yeah, he spit blue flames, and they didn't contradict her from what I found. They might have,
Wow.
and I just didn't, like, they just didn't report it. But, like, it seemed like they took her more seriously. So I'm assuming that she's, like, either middle to upper class. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister and her went to visit their brother on the day of Jane's trial. While it was happening, it was, like, starting to get a little dark. And so they were like, you know what? We got to go home. It was nice to hang out with you, brother. You're great. See you later. So then they start walking home, and they start walking down this alleyway, and they see a figure at the end of the alleyway. The figure is holding a lantern. Lucy assumes that this is a woman because she thinks they're wearing a bonnet. And she's like, this is really weird. Like, I'm going to go see what she's doing. Like, is she okay? So she goes and, like, tries to go interact with this person, but the cloak comes off and immediately blue flames in her face. It immediately causes a seizure, which lasts for several hours.
Wow.
And her sister was there, so the figure runs off, right? And everybody's screaming. It's just pure chaos. And the brother hears them screaming. The sister runs to Lucy and is like, oh my God, what do I do? The brother is like, oh my God, I hear my sister screaming, I need to run. So he runs to go like see where they're at, what they're doing, because they're close enough
Right.
that he heard them. So they end up carrying her home, and she's still having a seizure like the whole way home. So that's her testimony. I don't know what happened after. It just specifically like gave the interaction with what they believe was Jack. I forgot his name. What kind of Jack? Something heel Jack? Spring heel Jack. Got it. Sorry.
We remember.
So those are like the most notable, most descriptive sightings of Jack. Then Jack becomes a media sensation.
He goes
The
viral.
tales he goes viral in Victorian era. Good for him, you know? Like, it's really hard nowadays with like the internet, but back then it must have been so much harder. He did a great job being famous,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Good for him. So, in 1840, when in like the hype of this, like, let's not forget the trial was in 1838. In 1840, only a few years later, a play comes out called Spring-Heeled Jack, The Terror of London. I tried to look up the script for this, and I could not find it anywhere. If someone has a script for this, please send it to me, because I would love to read it. But as of right now, I don't know what the play's about. I'm assuming it's just about, like,
Terror.
them.
Here, there. Just terror.
Yeah, basically. Just
He's
him
hid, and then
terrorizing
he's gone.
everybody.
Blue flames.
And there's a reason why I'm, like, specifically mentioning the play, because it comes back later, which is crazy. So, he was also featured in the Penny Dreadful. And if you don't know what the Penny Dreadful is, it was a UK thing in the 1830s is when it started. It only costed a penny, and it was kind of like a comic book in a way, but it told gruesome and scary stories like Sweeney Todd, Barnaby the Vampire, which was a gothic horror at the time, and even Spring Hill Jack, obviously. And so, like, it was specifically telling, like, all these, like, scary stories, and it was only a penny, so it was compared to today's video games that, like, everybody wanted to get their hands on it, you know? So that's basically, like, he just got even more famous off of that. So there's more sightings, more random stories about him and how he has terrorized more people. And one day, the police are talking to the theater owner, Mr. Farrell. I don't have a first name. I don't know where to find a first name.
Farrell.
Yeah, it's spelled like Will Ferrell.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Mr. Farrell talked to the police, and he was talking about how it could be possible to spit flames in the way that is described in the police reports. Okay?
Okay.
Let's take that in for a second. Do you have any clue of, like, how this could happen?
Only alcohol. Spitting alcohol. Am I on?
You're close.
Ooh, okay.
He specifically said that by dropping certain acids onto a sponge soaked in grain alcohol could produce flames similar to the victim's accounts. And it has to be, like, different acids make different colors.
Right.
Specifically, sulfur makes the blue color.
Interesting. So that makes sense as to why he smelled like sulfur.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So this guy might
like
actually be true and not a mythical creature at all.
What are we gonna do about it? I don't know.
Don't walk outside
Nothing we
alone.
can do about it. Nothing we can do about it right now.
Nope.
Okay, so some more. Oh, also, side note on the topic of specifically how to make those flames. was a break in the case, but it also wasn't a break in the case because all the ingredients that were listed in making this happen were extremely cheap at the time and very easy to come by. So it could be literally anybody.
Interesting.
Yep.
So it really could be a prank since it's cheap, very attainable objects. Or it could just be somebody having a severe psychotic break. Because, I mean, they're cowardly. If there's more than one person, it goes away. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're going to talk about some other notable stories just briefly. So we have a soldier. I didn't write it down. I should have wrote it down. I think it was in Scotland somewhere, which is why like it said it was in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
A soldier in Scotland was on duty, and he saw a man, and he was like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And the man didn't say anything, but he's just holding a lantern, similar to the other stories, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
So the man walks up to the soldier and just fucking slaps him across the face. They said that because there was multiple soldiers there, another soldier started shooting at this figure or this man, and the bullets had no effect whatsoever. And they were like, "What the fuck? What do we do?" And that's all I have for that story. I wish I knew more, but I couldn't find anything else.
Wow.
So the last sighting in England was 67 years after the first sighting.
Wow.
Yeah. The actual last sighting, significant amount of time later, in World War II, which is like around like the 1930s-ish. I don't know, like it didn't say a specific year. But in World War II, in Prague, which is occupied by Germany at the time, there was a figure that closely fit the description of this Spring Hill Jack. And they called him Perak, I think is what his name was. And then they it blew up into a media sensation there, and it just kind of kept going and going. And they only, there was only one sighting of him, but it became so big that I believe the last media thing made about him was in 2016 in Prague.
And what was it called?
I don't remember. It was in a different language, I think. So before I get into the theories, I want to know what you think. Like, what is your big theory on this?
I now think that it definitely could be, it could have been something scary back in the day. Could have been a little spooky poo, something weird, something unnatural. And then people are hearing about this and they're like, ooh, it smells like sulfur. It spits fire. It can jump really high. It claws off girls' clothes. Like people saying like they have metal claws. And I think it honestly just gave a gateway for perverts.
That's a good theory. Okay, so here are the public theories of what people think this might be. 1, alien.
Aliens.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Another one, they thought that it might be an occult sorcerer. So like a wizard.
I mean, alchemy. That
Fair
could be
enough.
a thing. So.
Okay, but at what point do we consider chemistry alchemy or chemistry sorcery? You know what I mean?
I think at the level that they were playing at. I think the level of them making themselves look eerie, place, time, party tricks, essentially. Because some alchemy is very simple, herbal, earthly, items.
Mm-hmm.
So
some people thought it was an actual demon. And there were theories that branched off of this. Obviously, because if somebody's describing it as a demon, they're going to think it's a demon, right? So some people thought that it was purposefully summoned by black magic. Some people thought it was accidentally summoned. And some people was like, it probably came here by its own volition. And it just shut up.
I think some dumbass accidentally just messed with the wrong fucking voodoo.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. So, another theory is that it was a hoax, and every single person that ever talked about it lied.
On shrooms, like I said at the very beginning, everybody is just getting high off of the wrong shit. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, that's a different theory. This is specifically, everybody was like, you know what? Let's just fuck with people.
Oh, the pranks people. Oh, I hate them.
Yeah, right. And so then it just spread, and then everybody just made everything up. So that was one of them. Another one was mass hysteria. So, like, in my mind, mass hysteria would be like everybody was constantly high, like you said. Or one person claimed to see it, and it started to spread, and so then everybody was expecting to see it, because they're like, oh my God, this thing is out here now. I'm terrified. And so they started seeing it because they like manifested it kind of. And so like they would turn the corner and be like, ah, you know? So that's what I believe mass hysteria is. I have here, it says it did happen and someone methodically planned it, which I think was my own theory.
I mean, I do think that seeing as that they were able to debunk a lot of things, other than the fact that the person looked like a demon, like if they had some insane disfigurations or something, they debunked everything. Everything is like humanly capable. I mean, there's people who can jump 9 feet in the air now using technology. So,
excuse me, where are these people?
Google. What is the sport? There's like a jumping sport. There's multiple jumping sports.
Like the one with the pole?
Like, no, not pole vaulting. Like with their own bodies. They use tools. Yeah, they'll use like, with technology. Technology assisted, but not pole vaulting. There's so much stuff on it. People be into everything, and I'm here for it. But I'm just saying, like, I just think some people had a lot of time to spare.
You're right. Okay, I want to get deeper into my theory. And then I have like a little nice bow after my theory. Okay, I think some upper class asshole who was bored decided to just terrorize women. That's what I think. Because like you said, like things were debunked. If the theater person hadn't come forward and been like, yeah, that's totally possible. We do that on stage where we make fire using these ingredients, like of different colors. Like it's totally possible. If I hadn't heard that, or if I hadn't read that, I wouldn't have assumed that people at that time could have done that.
Fair.
If it happened now, I would definitely be like, oh yeah, some kind of science shit. But like specifically because it was back then, I wouldn't have automatically assumed that is what they did. Because like, I don't know, I just don't assume that people back then had a lot to do with science, especially like everyday people, you know?
I agree. I just honestly think that it was tricks, and then it got really perverted and very gruesome very quickly.
Let's talk about specifically like my opinions on each aspect that is technically unnatural. Okay? So, the demon appearance. I believe that it was specifically someone dressing up to scare people. Some people said it was a bear. You could easily put like a bear hide on and look like a bear with a human body. Like, simple. Same with a bull. You could put on the bull hide and like be a bull, I guess. I don't know if that's what you're into, you know? And then with the ghost, it makes sense because if he has that white oil skin, like the coat, and it's like a waterproof coat, so it like has a hood and everything. You could easily like just glance at that and be like, oh, a ghost, you know? So that's what I believe as far as like the dressing up to scare people. And then like with the helmet, like you could easily put on a helmet. Easy. Check. Somebody dressing up wanting to scare people. I also think it was like upper class, specifically upper class, because it doesn't make sense that a lower class person would do this in this time period. It doesn't make sense,
and there were letters involved saying, oh, this was just a prank. I was just doing it for shits and giggles.
Well, let's get back into the claws. Let's talk about the claws. I believe that it was someone wearing gloves that had the metal claws attached.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Because, like, there was one person that said it was gloves, that the person had gloves on, but everybody else just said claws.
Yeah, because it was at night and you're being attacked.
Right. And it's terrifying. It's scary as hell. Let's also talking about the jumping 9 feet. That's crazy. Let's just get it out there. It's crazy. I don't know how to fully comprehend that.
Parkour.
Parkour. Actually, that was part of my theory, yes. Here's what I think happened. I think the people that saw him scale, like jumping over these 9-foot walls, exaggerated. I don't think it was 9 feet. I think that they were like, oh, it must have been 9 feet. It was so
They're
high.
probably
Like, how could
terrified.
somebody- Yeah. Not only that, I also think that, like, it was at night. So, like, what if they had a rope that they didn't see, and so they just quickly jumped up and was, like, running?
Oh my God.
You know?
Men back then were so short. Do you remember that? No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. They were actually so short, so they could be standing next to the wall and been like, yeah, that's roughly about 9-10 feet, mate. That's about right.
That's roughly about 9-10 feet, mate. Except they wouldn't have said feet. I need to know the calculations on this. 2.7 meters. So like 3 meters.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think, yeah. I just remember in history books, and then
That's
the
3
average
meters, mate.
man,
So
a long time
high.
ago was stupid short.
Really? I've never read that in my life.
Yeah, men were so short back in the day. Girl, you need to go down that rabbit hole.
But specifically where, though? Because, like, I feel like for there to be tall people now, genetically there had to have been tall people back then.
No, there were genetically tall people, but there's been a lot of mix since the 1800s.
True. Okay, back to my story. Okay, so
That's my
9 feet.
theory is that's where giants came from, by the way. Just really tall war people going to other places to claim it, and those guys were like 4 foot tall.
Sure. I don't have any evidence to prove that otherwise, so I'll believe you.
Besties for life.
Hell yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the blue flames. If we go back to what Mr. Farrell said, it is possible. And he had the ingredients, and he knew what you had to have to make those blue flames. That being said, who has access to that type of education? Upper class.
You're so right.
Boom. Upper class. Like, if you weren't upper class, there's no way that you could know that unless you were in the theater doing it. But I believe that it was an upper class man. That being said, let's talk about someone who I think it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
This has now become an attempted murder mystery.
Do you remember what the servant boy saw?
The thing with the W on it. The cloak with the W on it.
Correct. Do you want to know what the W stood for? Or what it was believed to stand for?
Tell me.
It was assumed that the W stood for the 3rd Marquess of Waterford, who was Lord Henry Beresford. He was known as the biggest asshole. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Have you ever heard the phrase painting the town red?
Yes.
That is where that comes from, because he literally painted the town red. So, just a brief, explanation on this guy. He, one night, went out with his buddies. He's having a good time, and he comes across this toll, and they try to become friends with this toll guy, and they don't have to pay going across or something like that. And this is very rough. If I'm wrong, let me know, because, this is just, a brief overview of this guy. He goes across this toll, and he, is made friends kind of with them, but then, when he's on his way back home, the toll guy's like, you gotta pay, dude. Just pay. This is literally my job. Please, I beg you, pay. And he's like, fuck no. Even though he's like so fucking rich, right? And he sees a bucket of paint that is red. He literally paints the toll man red, and then a security guard comes up and they start painting him red. They lock them in the toll room or whatever, and then they just start painting stuff.
Wow, I thought it was like mass murder or something.
He just literally was being an asshole.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the type of guy he is. He's also like the type of guy that he would like go through towns and tip wagons for fun. Like if there was like a cart selling fruit or whatever, he would just tip it for fun because he was an asshole. He would just literally terrorize people. And he was also known to, quote, do anything to win a bet. So kind of thinking of this guy did it. But that's just my opinion.
He did it. It was just a prank. It was just a joke. It was just a bet, you know?
He also clearly had asshole friends. Because, like, if they're painting people with him, they're assholes. All of them. Also, the sighting of the first story of Jack, he would have been in his early 20s.
So he would be agile or whatever.
Or whatever. Yeah, he'd be climbing them walls or whatever. I don't know. That's just like, I feel like he is the guy. That's just what I think. Allegedly, he's dead, so I don't think he's going to sue me. But
well, I just hate that he got so famous then, if it was him.
I mean, he was famous anyway because he was Lord Henry Beresford, the Marquess of Waterford, which I don't even know what that is, if I'm being honest. I didn't even look it up. I should have, but I was like, my brain was so scrambled after doing all this research.
We got so much research. We got so much info, and that was very entertaining.
I'm so glad, because if I'm being honest, I was thoroughly entertained, but also like, what the hell is happening?
Information overload.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
That would be the
Next
end of
is
my
my
story.
turn. My turn, me turn, my turn.
And welcome back.
For you, it's like 30 seconds. For us, it's the whole next mother freaking day.
So it really was an eternity this time. We've missed you so much. Where have you been? How's your mom? How's your mom doing? She doing good?
How are you today? Have you been drinking all your water?
Yeah.
Have you been doing good? Did you do something nice for yourself today? Did you release vitamin D in the sun? Did you eat delicious food? Did you have your coffee this morning? These are all very important.
If you don't drink coffee, did you drink tea?
Yeah, because we don't discriminate.
No.
Matcha,
did you literally
kombucha,
anything? Did you drink anything
like,
today?
anything.
Specific.
Did you drink?
Are you an alcoholic? It's okay if you are. We're all alcoholics here.
We still love you.
We're not all alcoholics. I want to preface that. We were drinking last night, which is in the beginning of the episode. So I do not know how that's going to sound until after I edit this.
That's going to be fun.
But
it's going to be fun.
now I'm just drinking water, so.
So now it's my turn because I said, what did I say? I said tails. Is that what
Yes.
you had?
Yes. The map happened.
The map happened. She's the map. So I just wanted to keep it a little fun, a little funky fresh. This is the cool thing about our friendship, okay? And you'll probably notice this while listening to the podcasts. We just know, right? We know, especially with this podcast, it's with a lot of other things, but with this podcast in particular, we both talk about a topic within a subject, right?
I have no clue where you're going.
Within a topic. You're like, in Jamie fashion, I have another one.
I mean, I believe that.
And she did like a really big story, really big, fun, exciting, crazy, mind-twisting story. And then I just have like a little sprinkle of like fun little stuff, you know?
I love that because I feel like mine was a little gruesome at times. And quite honestly, like, it's kind of like if you put it in today's perspective, I feel like there are still people who were kind of like this. Obviously not to the extreme, but like people who are just assholes to be assholes. And like specifically going out and hurting people just cuz, you know? So like most, like I think I mentioned in the statistics episode that most serial killers or murderers in general that like aren't based around like financial gain or anything like that or sexual gain, it's just because they just wanted to see what it felt like. So
yeah, I decided to do a little bit of a yin and yang factor. Okay, a little bit of this and a little bit of this causes balance. We love that. I decided to go into a little bit of Greek mythology.
ooh,
Get a little mythical creature from there. And then I decided to hop on over to a little bit of Roman mythology. Just a little sprinkle in there,
Wait.
okay?
are we doing mythology or urban legends?
Oh, wait. Actually, no. No.
I mean,
this is this is right.
yeah.
This is right. No, this is right. No, I'm right. Okay, no. I wanted to go into like magic. That's what I wanted to go into. Urban legends on magic.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Crisis
Okay, I'm so sorry. I had to think for a second. I was just like, girl, you got into this for like a reason. I was just like, why? You know?
ADHD.
Okay. We love it. I thought I fucked up, but I didn't.
No.
I
don't even know if that sounded good.
So, do you know what a plague mask is?
Yes.
You know what
It's
a
like
plague mask is.
the long horn
like-
thing.
Yes.
Not horn.
So
but
for people who do
like a
not
bird
know what a plague mask is, a plague mask essentially is a mask that has these giant like welding goggles type goggles, I guess you look through, okay? And is it made of metal? I believe it was made
I
of
thought
metal.
it was leather.
At one point. No, it's leather. There's leather too. There's different types. But at first, it was made out of metal because, like, they're like, this is a solid thing. Like, your little cough isn't going to get inside of my mask, right? But the plague mask, for those who don't know, it's like these big, it's like a metal helmet. Could be also made out of leather. Could have also been made out of a sheet. People made these things out of a whole bunch of things. But originally, it was metal. And they had these big goggles up front, like welding goggles, and it had this massive beak. Think like a crane, almost, just like a long beak. It was very, very long. I don't know why it was so long. Maybe they were just like, I need to breathe.
Well, no, I was thinking it was more like, not a crane, but the ones that I've seen, it looks just like a raven's face is just huge. And like, it's proportionate to...
I guess I was trying to think, I thought it was like a lot longer. Well, the picture I saw, the example I saw, it was really long.
Maybe some are super long, but all the ones that I've seen are like, just like out to here.
Well, they modernized like later on in the centuries, but when plague started, they had to start somewhere, okay? But it had a very long front, like beak for some reason. There's not really much to say as to why they decided to have a beak that was like a foot away from their face or so, but they did.
I mean, maybe.
And it would cover their whole head.
Maybe, so like just thinking of how, what are those hoop skirts? How hoop skirts were invented to keep people away, like to keep like a circle around you so you could have your own bubble.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's like that where it's like... to keep people from coming close because you are in a long mask.
That's true too. It's just like a sword. It's just like stay away or else you're getting impaled with my face.
Yeah. Face impalement.
Well, there is a little bit of a legend that caused I didn't find a name, but it caused a human, a doctor and an assistant to come up with the concept of this plague mask.
Okay.
And it is kind of biblical. It's like the spirits of plague, right? Okay. So but they would think that they were always coming in mist. So if you have a foggy morning, doctors would walk around with these masks on because they thought that the Nosoi were coming to spread plague. Nosoi. It's like Nosoi.
Nosoi.
She's googling.
It's
There's
a
not
bird?
much on it. Like I said, it's a time. No, it's a legend. Essentially, they brought plague.
I googled it and it's just a bunch of birds, but like not real birds.
Did you Google an image?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Well,
They're all birds with plague masks, which is really funny.
Well, their description is in their basic form. They were described as vaguely humanoid apparitions, which would really trip people out because, again, a foggy morning meant death, apparently. So, vaguely humanoid apparitions, their bodies were made out of glimmering smoke, which renders invulnerable to any weaponry. So, yeah, it goes into some stuff. It's a little fun. I like it. Anyways, so during these times of the year when it'd be extra foggy, the legend is that plague is upon us. So once a year, everybody thought that they were going to die. And I'm very much summarizing it, by the way. I'm very much summarizing, by the way. Okay? But they all thought they were going to die. So doctors would walk around with this mask because they thought it was the only thing that would prevent this creature from getting them ill with disease.
Wait, so is it kind of like, because all I'm seeing is a bunch of birds with the Nosoi, whatever you called it. Is it kind of like the idea of putting an owl on a roof to keep owls or to keep other animals away?
Essentially,
Okay.
yes. Well, they just thought it wasn't going to get penetrated because it was made out of metal. They could breathe, they can see, but it's covering up every hole in their face. And it was like a mist. Like apparently these creatures were a mist.
Okay.
Or this smoke was just on foggy seasons you were going to die with sickness because it's just in the air. Like when the mist comes, there's the disease and there's the sickness and everybody is going to die.
From a
right?
scientific standpoint, let's okay, if it's foggy, the sun's 90% not out. Like,
Yes.
like most of the time the sun's not going to be out when it's foggy.
Yes.
There weren't any vaccines back then to prevent these, blah,
Nope.
blah, blah. So it would make
Nope.
sense that once you start losing that vitamin D intake from the sun, your immune system's going to start to lower, which makes you sick. So I guess that makes sense that they thought
And
that, but
that's a lot of liquid air. Germs love humidity.
liquid air.
It's a lot of liquid air. Those particles are right up in your face.
That's going to be the name of
You
this
know.
episode. I hope you know. Liquid air.
But I'm just saying, like, you can, when you're in a humid state, like a humid client, a humid climate.
Yeah, humid client.
It would. A humid client. But if you're in a humid climate.
Why is your client
it
so wet?
will cause. Bro.
I did
I
not
can't
mean it
even
like that.
focus.
You know I didn't mean it like that.
Pause. I know it. But it does make sense because when you're in a humid climate, it does definitely hinder, or not hinder, it feeds germs and all that kind of stuff. They love it. They thrive in nice wet weather. So yes, it does make sense. But then where did this possible ghost, mist, shimmery thing of plague and disease and sickness come from, right? People have to figure that out. It's like, how do we get rid of all this sickness and this thing that's getting us sick? Then, like, is it coming out of nowhere? Like, we have to figure this out so that way we can stop it, right?
You said this is Greece, right?
Where do you think they ended up assuming this thing is coming from?
Okay, if I'm thinking about Greek mythology and I'm thinking about how the stories of yonder year, I would assume that there would have been like one person or a couple people that died of the same plague around the same time, and then they like became the mist and now are haunting everybody because they want vengeance and they want people to suffer the way they did or something.
See, that would be the logical answer.
Oh, we're not going logical. Okay, let me try again.
No.
Let me try again.
No.
Okay, I think that
Where does all evil come from in Greece? That's a good hint.
I mean, logically, people, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about logic. Okay, This is my theory. Okay. I think that there is a giant sky monster that pukes mist and it makes everybody sick.
Nope.
Okay.
It's the one place in Greece where all of their problems come from, essentially. And that, my friend,
government,
is Pandora's box.
Never mind.
Everything bad, everything that involves wealth, everything that involves terrible things, and maybe a little bit of good things, is Pandora's box, Pandora's jar, Pandora's box, whichever one, okay? And for those who don't know about old Pandora's box, let me summarize it for you, okay? Pandora in her jar or box is a well-known figure from Greek myth. It's known from the ancient literature as the first mortal woman who was crafted out of clay by the gods. The name Pandora can mean all giving or the giver of all, but also all gifted, and both of these meanings make sense when you think about her story. She was given all manner of gifts by the gods and was also the giver of unwanted gifts to humanity. According to Hesiod, in his Theogony and Works and Days, Pandora was crafted by the god of metallurgy and smiths. Let's see. From earth and water, as directed by Zeus, the king of gods, as an affliction on man. Pandora was sent as a gift to Epimetheus. Okay, Pandora was sent as a gift to Epimetheus, who had previously been warned by his brother not to accept any gifts from Zeus, but he accepted Pandora before he remembered his brother's warning, since he is, after all, the titan of the afterthought. Pandora came to Earth alone, but with a jar that she was told to never open. One day, she could no longer control her curiosity, and she opened the jar and released all mortal ills upon the earth, including sickness, war, vice, toil, pain, and the necessity to work for sustenance. So yeah, essentially all bad things come from Pandora.
Always blaming it on a woman.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this is terrible? I know where it's coming from.
I'm sure she had a good reason.
But just her curiosity just got you just too damn curious, you know?
Honestly.
And now we have to deal with morning dew that's gonna get us sick and kill us.
If I'm being 1,000% honest right now, if a box was in front of me and I didn't know what was in it, I'd open it. I'm one of those people.
Same.
I'm someone that's gonna die in a horror movie, and I've come to terms with that. Someone's gotta die in a horror movie.
I'm proud of you.
So,
I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Proud of
Even though I like to think that I'm like a final girl type of person, but let's be honest, I'm too curious.
See, I'm not as curious, but I feel like if somebody says, like, gives me one thing for the rest of my life, right? Just one thing, and they're just like, no matter what, I'm giving you this. This is yours. But no matter what, will you open it? You are not allowed, right? I feel like eventually, if I'm on my deathbed, I'd be like, fuck it.
Listen,
I can resist for a long time.
I think,
but then I'm just gonna be like,
I also think that
look it.
it depends on how they told me as well. So, like, if they were like, don't open it, don't you dare open this box, I'd be like, I want to open that box. But if they're like, listen, it is up to you to save the world. You just got to keep this box closed. I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm keeping this box closed. I'm saving the fucking world. Like, I would be honored. You know what I mean? Like, if it depends on the phrasing of it. If they were,
that's true too.
If my honor is at stake and I'm like, gotta keep this closed, that was my order, gotta do it, I'd be like, easy. But if you tell me you can't open that box, you can't do it, don't you dare do it, I'd be like, a big red button, click.
Well,
she
couldn't resist.
Of course she couldn't. It's okay, Pandora.
Yeah. Now we have Nosoi or Nosoi in the world. So if you look out and you see mist in your yard, you just might die from disease.
Listen, anything can kill you. The only thing that you can look forward to is death.
Let's talk about something that was funny. Next subject, because I have another one. Just call me Jamie or whatever. I saw one, and this is what kind of threw me off and made me think that I chose mythical creatures, but I just wanted to talk about it because kings do the dumbest shit.
Who does?
If they think kings
You're right.
do the dumbest shit if they think that they will live forever, become the strongest, like be able to heal by something, they're going to switch over to the Roman era. Okay. Doves.
Oh, wait. Did you mention this in the statistic one? There was like, no, it was geese.
No.
It was geese.
No, doves.
Okay.
Pure, white, pretty, beautiful creatures,
very much
right?
so.
Love them. They're very graceful. They're like angels flapping in the wind, you know? We love them. There was a legend that there was this beautiful snow white bird.
Oh, no.
Special, unique,
I see where this is going.
lovely in all of its ways. And it was a sassy bird.
Me too, dude.
It would tell you.
Relatable. A sassy bird.
It would tell you if you were to live or die. This bird was so selfless. If you were going to die, it would take your sickness and just fly away. It's a real bird. Real bird.
Definitely.
It's not just a made-up bird. It's not a mythical creature
And
bird. It's a real
it definitely did not give the illness. It took it away. It didn't give it.
Yeah,
Birds don't ever give illnesses ever, so.
Yeah. And if you're a little bit too far gone, it weeps. It just turns its head and it's just, oh, you're too late. I can't do anything else. Very dramatically. Real bird. It's a real bird.
It's a real bird. A real sassy bird like me. I relate to this bird.
They would name it the harbinger of hope or despair, this bird.
Mm.
Right?
Yes.
So this bird can tell you whether you live or die, essentially, because it can either take your sickness and fly away into the sunset and probably die from the sickness it took from you, or it would just let you know, like, I'm so sorry, I can't do anything else for you.
Wait, so is it multiple birds or is it?
It's supposed to be one bird.
But it dies?
Listen, just listen.
I don't understand.
Just listen. That's why it was so precious, which is the only reason why kings could obtain it. We're coming full circle, okay? We're coming full circle. Are you ready? So, this bird had healing properties, okay? It could take all the illness. It was such a rare bird that kings could only afford to try to find this bird. Send out people, take men from their homes to go look for this bird if they got bit by a spider or something. You know, just a little owie, you know?
Well, the king's got a little owie. Oh,
They got it. The kings have a little owie. But they would go out and they would find this white bird, the whitest, purest bird that they could find. and they would hold it hostage in their house, just in case. This bird stayed there. Somehow it had multiple kings at it. But there's only one bird. There's only one bird. Your bird is not as pure white as my bird, so I have the real bird, okay? But it would stay in the king's house. That's why I'm saying they're stupid. It would stay in the king's house just in case he got sick, right? And the bird would take sickness into itself and then fly away. And some say that this bird would just kind of disperse as it's flying. It's just kind of dispersing the sickness around out of its body.
Cool.
My theory is that it causes the mist.
Oh my God. It flew all the way.
It goes to Greece.
It flew all the way from Rome and
to Greece.
Yeah, and
dispersed its sickness.
They helped defeat the Spartans. Full circle.
Oh my God.
Not really. Kind of. Listen, can I just tell you my thought process as you're telling this story?
Do you want me to finish, or you just need to get it out?
I wanna say it, and then you tell me if I'm right later. Okay. So my theory is that some con artist, some shysta, was like, guess what? I can let you live forever. I got this white bird. What you think? Give me all your money, you king. So I think that it was just like some con man who was just like, yeah, like the snake oil stuff, you know, where they're like, this will do everything, but it's actually just a bird. I think that's what it is. Anyway,
it's just a bird, but these kings believed it. I think it was because it, like doves, albinism, they can be pretty freaking pure white. They can look so pure, and it made a lot of sense in a lot of different cultures that white, purest white, porcelain, the most blanco you can get. Blanco. Means purity. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a speck of dirt on you. You're pure as heck, right? It didn't work.
Aw, it didn't?
Unless it was just like a little boo-boo, and they're just like, bro, I got bit by this spider. It was hella infected, and now it's gone.
I feel for these kings, you know? Like, we knew that the bird was going to work, but I guess it was just too late.
No, because he healed.
No,
He healed.
we're not talking about...
The spider
We're
bite
not talking about
healed.
the spider bite.
No,
We're
I'm
talking about the ones that didn't make it. Let's pour
Oh,
one out.
the dramatic look away of the bird. I'm so sorry, my king.
The
I'm sorry, my lord.
let's pour one out for the kings that have died.
So, obviously, they have this thing that was purely based on myth, legend, that all they have to do is just look at you or be present, and it takes your sickness, or it predicts the future. People decided to take it up a notch. They wanted to see how this bird's... How do I word this? They wanted to see how this bird's guano healed certain things. Because it just comes out of its body so randomly and without effort. So it must be a gift, right?
We're talking about bird shit, right?
Yeah.
Bird shit?
I have to give birds some respect, okay? They have the easiest poops of any creature, I think, ever. They can just pop it out. Done.
Mid-flight.
Just like that. Mid-flight. Doesn't matter what position. We all got to sit on a toilet. Like, this bird can literally be doing anything, and they could just get that full shit out.
But, like, bird shit? To heal them?
Ja.
There's no way. No wonder everybody died so soon.
Yeah. Of course.
Disease, infections. That's probably how the bird flu came up.
It's like, we died because the bird couldn't fly around long enough to disperse the illness out of itself. And then I took its guano and rubbed it on me.
That's
in open cuts. Yes. My favorite was rubbing it in their eyes to cure blindness.
I'm surprised that didn't make them more blind somehow.
It more than likely did. That was its healing property. That was its gift to the kings. It's shit. It's pure shit. Pure shit.
I just will never understand. Listen, you know what? Actually, I do understand it. I do get it. Imagine being lower class and you're just like, I fucking hate these kings so much. How can I mess with them? And then it just gets out of hand.
It does. It does. It's gotten way out of hand. And that's the thing, too. It wasn't necessarily described as, like, a dove, right?
Then what was it?
It wasn't necessarily described as... It was just a white bird. A pure white bird. Guess what? They could grab a duck.
Grab a duck.
It could have been a white duck.
Grab a duck. Grab a duck. A
swan?
swan?
It could have been a dove. A dove. It could have been a swan.
But swans can't really
as long
fly,
as it's pure
though.
white.
I mean, they can, but they can't.
That's true. But I just imagine people went out hunting for the whitest bird that they could find. And that's why there was multiple of them.
Mm.
So yeah, that was a legend.
That's so dumb.
That was a legend. Isn't it? Kings are so stupid. Kings are stupid and doctors were so clueless, unfortunately.
It really feels like it's like the more privilege you have, the dumber you are. Even though you have access to like this higher education, like you just are dumb. But because like I guess like lower class people have more street smarts and so they have more common sense and they put two and two together faster, whereas like and I'm sure that like someone of a lower class wouldn't be like, let me rub this shit on me, unless they're like crazy.
It's just like, I have a pure white bird who's not taking away my blindness. Maybe I need to rub his shit on my eyes to cure my blindness.
Yeah, actually, you know what?
That works.
I'm going to get myself one of these birds. And then when the time comes, because I know one day I'm going to lose my vision. One day I'm going to use that bird shit.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And then she gets like a glaucoma or something. And her eye just turns black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the goal, honestly. So I don't have to see these idiots anymore. Or see stories about these idiots.
Not making fun of people with glaucomas either. Not. I'm just saying because of the way that some cases can look. Some.
Mm.
I'm not saying that you look like you have shit rubbed into your eyes either. It's just a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
So I just remembered that I missed a part of my story. We're going back around. Okay.
Full circle.
Full circle. Full circle. Do you remember me talking about the Penny Dreadfuls?
Yes.
It was the like comic book style things that sold for a penny, blah, blah, blah. In the Penny Dreadful, the spring-heeled Jack slowly morphed from a villain doing supervillain duties, and it morphed into a heroic man who is stopping ordinary crimes and ordinary evils. And if you look at the very first, or like one of the very first issues where Spring-Heeled Jack was portrayed as this heroic character, then you'll see he looks like he has bat wings and it looks like he's wearing horns. If you want to Google it, maybe I'll just send it to you while we're here so you don't have to look it up. People believe that this Penny Dreadful was the origin of Batman. Batman, yes. Batman. That's my Batman voice.
So Batman goes from terrorizing 18-year-olds to
Batman.
That sounded like you said but. It sounded like you said but.
I got stuck in my throat, whatever that was. But yeah, so I'm sending you the picture now. Hold on. That's why they believe that Batman... Yeah, you like the picture?
Bro! This bro, he is Batman.
Oh my god, it's so bad. And his like white pants, his stance, his eyes, all of it. Every single bit of it, I love.
The feather on his forehead.
I don't think that's a feather. I think that's supposed to be
it
flames.
Looks like a feather.
Like he's like falling and like the flames are just going up.
He tripped over the tombstone.
I love it. Okay, that they believe that the reason why early Batman was going around killing willy-nilly with no remorse, just killing like bad people, they believed that he was inspired off of Spring-Heeled Jack.
That's wild, because this drawing that you guys will see on Instagram, this drawing does not look like the description Jamie gave.
What did I?
It's like the parody of parodies, and then that caused Batman. That's hilarious.
I described it accurately. I said he has bat wings and horns, and that's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, yeah, but the way they depicted it.
So, yeah, that is a really funny little tidbit about Spring-Heeled Jack, and that he possibly inspired Batman.
Ja. That's
Ja.
him. And I told you a story about murderous, disease-ridden mist and a bird who shit in people's eyes to heal them, specifically kings.
Love that.
Yeah, it was so fun,
I
right?
love that so much. Until next week, my friends.
And new friends, old friends, we love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we will see
yeah.
you next week.
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye.